Hey, welcome back. This is MSI's latest handheld. It's the MSI Claw A8, and it's a follow-up to last year's MSI Claw A8 Plus, which was sporting an Intel chipset and ended up being a really good handheld. This year, MSI went in a different direction and gave us a handheld with an AMD chipset in it. This guy's sporting the Z2 Extreme. Are we getting an upgrade? Are we getting more of the same? Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to Digital Jedi Gaming. I'm Matt. Let's talk about the Claw A8. This is a Windows 11 based handheld gaming PC with an 8-inch 120Hz VR display that runs a resolution of 1920 by 1200. It's giving you that perfect 16 by 10 aspect ratio that works really well for both PC titles and emulation. It's not an OLED panel, but it's a very sharp, high quality LCD that looks fantastic in motion. Powering the device is an AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme. It's the same class of chipset we're seeing in other high-end PC handhelds right now, like the Xbox AllyX and the Legion Go 2. You're getting the Radeon 890M graphics, 24 gigs of DDR5X RAM, and a 1TB SSD. On the connectivity side, it supports Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and includes 2 USB-C Thunderbolt ports. All of this is backed by a large 80 watt-hour battery. Now let's compare it to the Claw A8 AI Plus. Both devices share a lot of the same hardware foundation, the same 8-inch display, battery, and overall control layout. The big difference comes down to what's inside. The AI Plus is powered by an Intel Core Ultra 7. It's a 258V with Intel Arc 140 graphics and comes with 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Storage is another key difference. While both models ship with a 1TB, the 8 AI Plus uses a 2230 size SSD, which realistically limits your upgrade options to around 2TB unless you start using adapters. Now the A8, on the other hand, uses a full-size 2280 SSD right out of the box, which gives you far more flexibility and basically removes storage limitations for most users. Alright, so let's take a look at this. First off, this box, I know it may sound silly, but this box is awesome. It's so well done, the graphics on it, and it just feels nice and super premium. And these are not cheap devices, so little touches like that to me make a big deal. Right? If you put forth the effort to give us a pretty box, it kind of shows that you appreciate the hard-earned money we spent on this device. So when you open it up, you get a quick guide and a quick start menu as well. And you get a little fold away cardboard kickstand that comes with it. Inside here, you get the Claw A8, right? And then inside the bottom there, you get a 65 watt fast charger. All right. So first impressions. The first thing I thought when I took this out of the box is, man, this thing is super light. I mean, I had to weigh it, and I'll show you some examples of the weight, but this might be the lightest PC handheld I've ever had. It comes in, I want to say it's 760 grams, so a little bit over a pound, really light. The second thing I thought was the ergonomics are a little bit odd. I'm not sure what the choice is here, but as you can see, it's got a shape here. It's rounded off, but it still feels a little sharp. I thought they could have did a better job in rounding this, and I'm not quite sure why they gave it those corners there. I mean, it doesn't feel terrible, but you know, you can feel it in the hand, like you notice it, right? The next thing about the ergonomics that I thought was a little bit odd was the rear of it. These humps, you know, the ergo humps are always a good thing, right? They're meant to contour towards your hands. I think they could have did a better job around these off. And as I'm holding this now, with my hands wrapped around here and with it upside down, inverted like that, and the weight on my hands, you can feel these corners kind of pressing into the palm of your hand. So I'm not sure what the design choice there was. It's not terrible, but I feel like they could have did better. I feel like the ergo on the A8 Plus last year's model felt better. So it's got rear programmable M1, M2 buttons. You have your power button, which also doubles as a fingerprint sensor. Thunderbolt 4, Thunderbolt USB 3.2, micro SD slot, 3.5mm headphone jack, your volume rocker, R1, L1. Pretty good. These are Hall triggers here. They're quiet, they're big. I'm feeling like in 2026, with a PC handheld, especially at the price point of this device, which is $1,200, trigger lock should be a standard feature on this thing here. So I'm a little disappointed that this one didn't have trigger locks. You also have a bunch of great exhaust vents here, so there's definitely a good amount of venting there. Some on the back, some on the top. On the bottom of the device, we don't have anything, nothing on either side there. On the front, there's an interesting texture here. It actually feels really good. It's right here. I think I would have really appreciated this texture on the back here, because right here on the back, there's a little bit of design. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's not really any texture there. So I think this texture would have felt great on the back here. And again, I'm not sure what the squared off humps are, what the design choice was there, but I'm not quite sure I understand it. Also on the back, you have your exhaust fans, obviously. So buttons feel really good. A little bit clacky, but they feel pretty good. Sticks feel good. They have good range of motion. Maybe a tiny bit loose, but not terrible at all. They feel good. They have RGB lights around the sticks. Audio on this device, and I'll play it for you, some songs for you a little bit later. It's very, very good. That's one thing MSI has always excelled at, is the audio of their devices. D-pad is the same D-pad that they had on the Claw A8 Plus. Not terrible. If the camera's picking it up, it's very pronounced. The 4 directionals are very pronounced here. And you know, if you're playing a long match of Street Fighter or something like that, I could see where it could potentially be a little uncomfortable. But I had the A8 Plus with the same D-pad, and I never had any real problems with it. And I do play quite a bit of Street Fighter, but I could see, you know, I know people had critiqued this D-pad last time about how pronounced it was. I didn't mind it, but I could see what for some people it could be a concern. So the screen is a beautiful 8-inch 120 hertz VR display, and it's not OLED, but it's a very well tuned IPS display. Here we go. Oh, I don't know if it's just me, but I always find that so satisfying. So much fun to do. While we're at it, let's take this guy off the back too. Oh yeah, that's awesome. It's got the MSI Claw, the MSI logo, the dragon on there, a little bit texture. It looks a really nice touch. That looks pretty awesome. I don't know if the camera's picking up how good it looks, but that looks really slick. So overall, really nice, light, really nice for a PC handheld. I could see, I don't know if I could say, I was gonna say I could see this in using this in bed. What I am concerned about is when I notice when you have it upside down like that, you can almost feel those bottom corners digging into your palm. So I don't know if this would be on the couch or a bed device. You know, not terrible, not the worst I've held, but not the best either. All right. So the screen is beautiful. It's really well tuned. Same thing like the last year's model. It's the same screen. There's this relatively small bezel around at the bottom. It's a little bit bigger. Nothing that's impactful. I mean, if this was a black handheld, it might not stand out as much, but I didn't notice it when I'm gaming on it. Okay, so one of the first things I noticed about this device when I powered it on, and I love it, is, and it may sound silly, is that they actually put start and select on the top, right? Xbox puts start and select on the bottom for the Xbox AllyX, which drives me nuts. Because then when I'm gaming and I go to pause the game, I accidentally hit the menu button, which we don't want to do, right? So right below the start button here is our quick settings button. So you click that and you get a bunch of different things. You can shut the device down. You can control your brightness, your sound, control whether it's in gamepad mode, desktop mode. You can do an FPS limiter. So you have a bunch of different shortcuts that you can do yourself. CPU boost. You can turn FSR on from here, FSR off. You can do a real-time FPS monitor. So a lot of cool stuff you see on most of these shortcut buttons. So the last one here, just under the select button, launches MSI's proprietary software called Center M. Center M is kind of like, you know, Asus's Armory Crate, or, you know, Xbox's is I guess Xbox's Xbox full screen experience. Something similar to something like that, or 1X players, you know, one console. I mean, it's basically a center that launches all your apps or your games here. and it launches. It doesn't just launch MSI games. You know, anything that you have here from Steam or GOG or anything like that will show up here. It's very basic, very generic, no flash, nothing like that, but it works, right? So then from there, you can do a couple different things. So you can click on control mode, which is gonna let you select between gamepad or desktop mode, okay? You have your news, any kind of news flashes, any kind of software updates. This is a new device, so obviously there's gonna be quite a few updates initially because they're trying to catch up. We'll get to that later. Your internet connection, and then your basic settings. So in your settings, you have your AI engine. So something kind of cool, they have an AI engine that kind of control your TDP or help you with your TDP. So it can set automatic AI, and I want to say that the default for the AI setting is like 18 watts, and we can take a look at that later. But you can set up your own custom AI engine to control the TDPs. Next thing down is your Mystic Light, which is going to be your RGBs. Something MSI does that's really cool with their RGBs, nobody else does. It has this option here called info mode. Okay, when you click on that, it's actually going to color the RGBs around the sticks and on the buttons to whatever you're doing. So right now it's red because we're in MSI mode, right? And then if we're in gamepad mode, it'll be green, or if we're in desktop mode, it'll be blue. So it kind of is a quick glance at, okay, while I'm in desktop mode, I need to be in gamepad mode, if that makes sense. So that's a very cool feature on that. We're gonna get rid of that. Next thing we have noise cancellation. So we actually have an auto speaker noise canceling thing and a microphone noise cancellation thing setting, which is actually pretty awesome. Media gallery, system info. Down in battery, you can do a battery calibration. Whenever you get a device like this, brand new out of the box, it's always recommended to do a battery calibration. That'll help your system understand where your battery's at, and you always want to make sure you maintain the life of your battery. So that's a good start. Always do those when you first get these out of the box. There's a service here, and then there's general settings. In your general settings is going to be, you can do like center M, their software. You can set it as default to start up when you turn the device on, which mine is on. I'm gonna turn it off because I don't use center M. I'll show you why. The reason why I don't use center M is I find it redundant, because this device is the second device besides the Asus ROG Xbox AllyX to ship with the Xbox full screen experience out the box. This is it. Now, when it first launched on the Xbox ROG Ally, it wasn't bad. Definitely an improvement over straight Windows. It just needed some polish. It's been a few months. You can see here, this is a little bit more polished than that. There's a couple, a couple nice things. It seems to be a little bit smoother. The icons look a little bit better. I don't know if you remember or if you got a chance to see it, but when it launched on the Ally, it was just a black box with a tiny little like Steam DB grid icon. So these are a little bit better there, but it's a lot of the same features. You have your home, you have your Game Pass. You can access your Xbox Game Pass account, which is pretty awesome. Your full library, and what's really cool about the full library, it's going to show you your entire library. So games from Game Pass, games from GOG, games from Epic, games from Steam, they all pop up here so you can launch them, right? So that's a really nice touch to it. And you can sort it out by apps or games. You can look at what's installed, or you can sort it by what you own. And then when you do by what you own, you can actually set that up to show you just my GOG games or just my Steam games. And then you can select that there. There's a cloud gaming option, which comes with Game Pass, which is really awesome that this device supports it. And it's got Wi-Fi 7, so you could potentially cloud game with this one and, be in a pretty good spot with that. And then there's a store, right, which is the Xbox store, all the Microsoft store where you can get games and apps and stuff. Your pretty standard stuff there, right? So pretty nice experience. I'll show you how to get out of it in a minute if you want to go to Windows Full Desktop, because it does have it. But the benefit to using it this way, this is more of a kind of like SteamOS, right? It's a turn it on, game and go. You don't have to launch stuff, and supposedly this saves a little bit of RAM because it's not launching all those things in the back end. So that's a plus too, right? Something I'm noticing while I'm talking here, the fans are, just like any x86, the fans are a little bit loud, but they're not awful. We'll see what they sound like when we put some heavy duty games on it. All right, let's chuck a couple more features and then we'll play some games and then we'll kind of wrap it up. Say you're gaming and for whatever reason you want to switch out of the Xbox full screen experience and go back to Windows Desktop. Real simple. So you're going to swipe up from the bottom. You're going to select Windows Desktop mode. It's going to say, hey, you sure you want to do that? You say yes, boom, now you're in Windows desktop. Very, very simple. You can do whatever you like. Go through settings, you can access your OneDrive, you can go back here. It's all right there. All right, let's check out the speakers. MSI always does an excellent job with speakers. Excellent sound quality, great range, and almost no distortion to high volumes. We're listening to this at about 95%. Alright, let's do a size comparison of the Claw A8 against the Legion Go 2. Now the Legion Go 2 is a bigger device with a bigger screen and it weighs more. Alright, now let's take a comparison against the Steam Deck. As you can see, the Claw A8 is actually a little bit bigger than the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is a little bit thicker, but the Claw A8 is bigger, has a bigger screen, and they weigh roughly about the same.
Spider sense to figure out there's trouble downtown. Watch out, these bugs have been sent by Nihilus himself. Base Stuffer falls back in the war.
So who's the MSI Claw A8 for? If you're looking for an 8-inch Windows handheld and you really like the design and overall aesthetic of the Claw A8, this isn't a bad device. The performance is absolutely there, and getting the Xbox full screen experience right out of the box is a big plus. But here's my honest take. It's good, but not worth the asking price compared to the competition. Is it worth $150 more than the ROG Xbox AllyX? The Xbox AllyX delivers similar performance, similar battery, and the same full screen experience, and in my opinion, better ergonomics. And the device that's only 1 inch smaller. That makes the A8 a tough sell for me. At this price, I'd either step up to an MSI Claw A8 Plus, which gives you 32 gigs of RAM, a slightly faster chipset, or just spend even a bit more and grab something like the Legion Go 2. Better yet, save a lot of money and look at the Legion Go S with the Z1 Extreme. You're getting the same 8-inch screen and a very similar performance at significantly less. At the end of the day, the Claw A8 isn't bad. It's just priced in a way that makes the competition really hard to ignore. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Claw A8. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to Digital Jedi Gaming. Thanks for watching, take it easy and keep gaming.